Alright, so we are hanging out in Lake Morena on our day 0 at an Airbnb, and I thought I would take the opportunity to do a gear video. So here's what I'm carrying. So here is all of my gear pretty much exploded all over the floor. So I'm just gonna kind of go through it little by little. All right, so big 3/sleep system. We have a Big Agnes Cooper Spur UL2 that my husband and I will be sharing. We have used it on backpacking trips. We love it. It's fantastic and lightweight, and we're splitting the weight. So I'm carrying the tent and the rainfly. He's carrying the stakes and the poles. That kind of shape there that you can't really see in the dark right there is actually my Enlightened Equipment sleeping bag. I believe it's a Revelation quilt, if I remember correctly. And it's a 0 degree. And then I have a Thermarest inflatable sleeping pad. Not the higher end warmth one, which I do kind of wish I had, but it's one step down and it's pretty fantastic, pretty comfy. And I actually have a Gossamer Gear foam pad. Weighs almost nothing. Adds a little bit of extra R value, extra cushion, and protects the sleeping pad from anything that might be pokey. Not shown here because my husband has it in his pack is our Tyvek ground sheet, cut to fit our Big Agnes. So there is that as well. And then I have a little Sea to Summit pillow. It's just like a medium sized. And then onto the pack itself. So this white thing here is our trash compactor bag to kind of keep everything dry and protected. And I am carrying a Osprey Exos. We got it at a discount, and I'm not ultralight. I am carrying some luxury items. Just for some things I know I'm going to need, or at least at the moment think I need. We'll see along the hike. So I didn't want to go with a super ultralight pack just because, you know, I don't want something to be uncomfortable if I exceed that weight limit. I want it to be comfortable even if it's a bit heavier, especially with potential water carries and such. So I was pretty happy with the Osprey. It's come with me on a bunch of hikes and backpacking trips, and I really love it, actually. And then I just have a Osprey REI pack cover just for rain and stuff. Lecky poles, I've been using those forever, and I really love them. They hold up quite well, and they're pretty fantastic. And then I have a Six Moons Design sun umbrella. And I'm looking forward to that. I know some people don't like it, but I'm really looking forward to that, just to keep some of that sun off of me. And then we have the MSR wind burner, stove, a Bic lighter, and fuel. That's the whole setup. My husband and I will be splitting it up between the two of us. So it won't actually be all of that in my pack. It's kind of nice being able to split weight. So I have a OpSack here, and then I have a Sea to Summit river bag for my food bag. Not the lightest decision, but it is sturdy, it is stable, it can be hung, and it will keep everything dry and protected. So it just was a good decision. We'll see if I regret that later for the weight, but at the moment I'm actually really happy with it. And then we made cozies. They're super lightweight. They weigh nothing. Just a little bit of tape, little bit of insulation stuff and some Velcro, and they're a good size, but they weigh nothing and they take up no space, so it's pretty great. And then I like my coffee, I like my tea, so I have a little collapsible cup. We'll see if that sticks around. I know a lot of people kind of regret it because of the weight, but I really like having a drink when I'm eating food, especially when we're out on a backpacking trip, especially before bed. So I have a feeling that this might end up being one of my favorite things. We'll see. And then I just have my Sea to Summit spork. So there is my Sawyer. We also have a backup Aqua Mirror drops as well. So it's the full Sawyer squeeze, and then I have a, what is it called? Evernew? Yeah. An Evernew 2-liter water bladder. And then, what else? Just my toiletry kit. I have deuce of spades and then a little bit of tape on the edge to kind of blunt that edge and make it easier to use. And then just, you know, toilet paper and garbage bag and stuff. Here's where things get slightly ridiculous. This is hygiene, and it's hygiene and med kit and any of my, what's the word I'm looking for? Patch kits and needle and thread and things like that, just any of the emergency stuff. It looks ridiculous. It is ridiculous. The reason for that is I actually have 2 EpiPens in there because there may, and I do say may, be a severe bee allergy. We actually don't know, so I'm carrying them just in case. And then, as you will see, they say that you carry your fears. I'm not so much carrying fear as I know I have a problem with retaining heat. This is going to be an issue on cold nights in the Sierra, in Washington, in the desert at night. And so when I'm moving, I retain heat wonderfully. The second I stop moving, even if it's 75 degrees outside and sunny, the second I stop moving, I start shivering. So I am a little worried about ending a day of hiking and it dropping down in temperature and me being freezing all night long. So I do have a few extra things, including a bunch of hand warmers that I can, you know, put in my socks and, you know, warm myself up. And I have a few other things that will help with that as well, and we'll kind of get to that. Just my wallet, some cash, my cards, my ID, things like that. And then my electronics bag. We have the phone that I'm using currently, which is an iPhone 8S Plus, whatever it is. You know, some headphones, some batteries, my Petzl headlamp, and, you know, just plugs. I have over here my battery bank and a dual charger. And then another one of these dry sacks. That's so on river crossings I can throw all my electronics in there, throw my sleeping bag in there, and my wool and stuff, and keep it dry, or add that extra layer of protection. Now we get onto the clothing, which is where my fear of being freezing and like dying of hypothermia comes into play. So my base layers, I have just a Prana bra, and then I have little booty shorts that I'll be wearing. Those shorts can be worn to bed, they can be worn hiking, they can be worn as underwear. So they're just kind of multi-purpose underwear layer. Base layer, I have just a nice Columbia shirt. I don't actually remember what kind of shirt it is, but it is, you know, it has nice vents and it's button up and like it's the pretty standard through hiker shirt. I'm currently wearing my bottom base layer at the moment, but I have a purple rain skirt, just their standard 2-pocket original design, which I adore. I love hiking in skirts, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then you also saw I have just like really cheap tights. They're really thin, they're black. These will protect me very mildly from stickers and stuff, like as we're walking by, and just to keep warm. I can wear them to bed. Yeah, so they're just a good extra layer to have. And then I have for a sleep shirt, just again, I'm wearing it, just a gray tank top. But then, so getting into warm layer, I have a Columbia long sleeve thermal shirt, and it is one of the ones that has the inside like reflectors, so it actually reflects your own heat back at you. So I can wear that hiking, I can wear it to bed on super cold nights. Yeah, it's just an extra layer for I'm freezing, I need something to keep me warm. And on that note, I do have a heavyweight layer wool tights and a Montbell heavyweight layer wool shirt. And then I have a beanie. Just I think a Mountain Hardwear, yeah, fleece beanie, which is super comfy. And then I have my puffy, which is a Patagonia micro puff. It is that ridiculous pylon orange because we got it on a discount, a sale. Pretty much everything I own backpacking wise was bought on sale. I actually, you know, we've been planning for so long that we were able to wait as long as possible for sales on pretty much everything. So all of my gear is like ridiculously bright colors, and that's because they're all sale items. So that's my warm layer. I also have gloves. I have wind protector gloves and possum down gloves. Again, just making sure that I stay warm. And then I do have my sun gloves, sun glasses, and then I have, you know, a sleep pair of socks, Injinji toe socks, and then hiking socks that I can kind of rotate out if they're dirty, if they're wet, you know, that way I have nice clean socks I can kind of be rotating around and wearing regularly. And then I just have some dirty girl gaiters. I have a sun hat and a couple of buffs I can wear. One's wool, one's reflective for light, and then a couple of multi-use bandanas, which I use for all kind of things. Like one's a handkerchief, one can be a pee rag, you know, kind of multi-use for everything. And then I think last but not least is my my raincoat. So we got this at the Columbia store. It's just a Columbia raincoat. It goes down like halfway down my thighs, and zips all the way up to the chin and is super lightweight but really comfy. It has pit zips. It's pretty awesome. And that's all I'm wearing. Weirdly enough, you know, I'm kind of terrified of being cold, but I'm not protecting my lower half from the rain, just because it's extra weight. I'd rather hike in my skirt and have my legs wet and then dry off once we're in the tent and put on all my, you know, dry wool layers and get myself warm that way. We'll see if that changes. That might be a horrible idea, but you know, I'm open to the experience and seeing, you know, if I don't like something, if something's not working, I'll change it. And then because it's a high snow year and we've been hearing reports of people running into ice and snow pretty early on in the trail, these are my Catula micro spikes. And so we brought them along just in case in Mount Laguna, in San Jacinto, wherever. If we run into snow, we have them. If we get pretty much up to San Jacinto and there's no snow, no ice, it's pretty passable without the need for micro spikes, I will put them in a bounce and just bounce them along until the Sierras. So these might not be hanging around very long. But yeah, that is my gear system. And then over by the door there, I'm not gonna bother walking over, are just my Ultra Lone Peaks. And that's what I'm wearing the whole trail. I essentially transitioned to Ultra Lone Peaks 4 years ago. And I was not so smart in doing so, and I went from wearing like high heels and normal like skateboard shoes to Lone Peaks in like 2 or 3 weeks. Just flipped right over to them essentially, and ended up with horrible plantar fasciitis kind of pain and shin splint pain, and it was really awful. But luckily I was in school at the time, and one of my professors, who was a doctor, was just like, and a big promoter for natural foot-shaped shoes, was just like, don't quit, just back up a bit, slowly transition. So I reverted back to my sneakers and kind of wore them on and off and increased my time slowly in the Ultras, and within 6 months, they were all I was wearing, and I've never looked back. I've pretty much been wearing them daily, on hikes, off hikes, on backpacking trips, at work. They're pretty much all I wear now. And so the ones I have, I've broken in. They have probably about 100 miles on them already. And they are super comfy, and my feet are very happy with them. Because I wear natural shoes now, I do wear like a 10 in men's. So my feet are huge, but they're super comfy. So I'm like pretty solid that my shoe choice is going to be good from the get-go. So yeah, so that is my gear. So I'm gonna pack it all up and get it ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is day 1.